Hello, welcome to the Tabs and Icons Consulting Excel training series. In this video, we're going to look at how to prepare a loan amortization schedule in MX Excel. We've called this part 2. In the previous training, we did a part 1 where we did a loan repayment under a moratorium condition and payment was made on reducing balance basis. In this particular loan scenario, we're going to look at a loan facility that a fixed equal amount is paid all through the life of the facility. And we're going to use finance functions, 3 finance functions, the PMT, the IPMT, as well as the PPMT. I'll be explaining this as we move on. Let's jump straight to our data. My name is Karo Ezuzu. So we have this data very similar to the one we used in our earlier video. We have a loan amount of 100 million, interest rate per annum 23%, loan tenure is 18 months, there's no moratorium. Let me take out this facility, okay? There's no moratorium, and we are told that the terms of payment is that equal monthly repayment will be made all through the life of the facility. So the first thing we're going to do is to determine that fixed amount that we're going to pay every month. Now, the moment we determine that amount, we know that that amount is going to be made up of payment towards the principal as well as the charges involved. Now, for this facility, the only charge here is interest rate. So we're saying that the monthly repayment will be made up of interest element as well as principal repayment. So let's determine that amount. And the finance function that is used is called the PMT. I'm going to say equal to PMT, and then I open the brackets asking me what is the rate of that facility. The rate is 23% per annum, but we are talking of 1 month payment, so I divide that by 12. I take my comma, it's asking me NPR, that means how many payments, number of payments throughout the facility. There are 18 months, so it's going to be 18 payments. When I take my comma, it's asking me the present value of the facility, which of course is the loan amount. I click on this. I hit my enter and I get this. Now, if you look at what we have now, we are having minus 6,621,000, no, blah, blah, blah. Now, because the finance function, PMT, look at the function as an expense function, a cash outflow, so it's coming with minus. But it would be wrong to tell a client that you will be paying minus 6 million. Rather, you say you're paying 6 million. So I'm going to take out the minus sign. It's either you put a minus at the back of your function here, or you use the absolute value function. I prefer to use the absolute value function, so I'm going to say equal to ABS, and I just hit my enter. So it's telling me now it's 6 million. I think I'm more comfortable with telling a client that you are paying 6 million than you are paying minus 6 million. So I have that. Now, what means that by the time I compute my total payment for each of the months, every month this is what I'm going to be paying back, which is going to be, part of it will be interest, part of it will be principal. So now let's compute that. The balance in month 1 is actually the loan balance. So I'm going to take this and I hit my enter key. Now, the interest under this scenario, we are going to use the IPMT function, which is the interest payment function, the finance function. This function is used where the loan repayment is on fixed equal amount. Remember the earlier one we did, we simply took the interest rate multiplied by the reducing balance. But we are told here that the amount to be paid is going to be a fixed amount, which we've computed here. So what portion of this is interest, what portion of it is principal? So I'm going to use the IPMT. I open my brackets asking me rate. We're writing our rate, that is this amount. Now this time I'm holding it fixed because I intend to copy that down. I take my comma. When I take my comma, it's asking which particular month am I considering now. For now I'm considering month 1, so I click on month 1. I take my comma. I start how many payments altogether am I going to make? I'm going to make 18 payments all through the facility, and I take a comma. The other arguments we have actually seen the other argument, which is the present value of the facility, is the loan amount, and I'm going to click on the loan amount. I hold that fixed. That's all. I hit my enter key. That is the interest I'm going to pay in month 1. Now let's look at principal element of what we are going to pay in month 1. The principal element of what I'm going to pay in month 1 is simply going to be this one minus this. But assuming I have not computed this, I can also determine what should be here by saying equal to PPMT. Now, PPMT function is used to compute the principal payment portion of a facility with a fixed equal repayment. So when I take this, it's asking me the rate. We already know the rate. This divide by 12. And I take my comma, it's asking me which month am I talking about now. And I say I'm talking of month 1. And I take this. How many payments? 18 payments. So we already have that. So that's all I need. I just simply take my comma and then the present value of the facility, which is this. That's all. I hit my enter key. So I'm going to pay that. Now if you look at this, they are also coming with minus, which, like I said, it will be wrong to tell a client that you are paying back -9. So I'm using the ABS function also to take that off, and then I come here, I use the ABS function. Like I mentioned earlier, you can use minus if you are comfortable with that. You will get the same thing. I'm using the ABS, it translates to the same. So I'm going to have this. Now total payment is this plus this. If we are correct, if we add these two, we should be able to get the monthly part. So I'm going to say this one plus this. This is my total payment, and if you check, it's exactly the same amount I have there. So balance of the facility is simply this minus payment towards principal, which is this, and I have this. That is the balance of the facility in month 1. So I come here, I do this, take the balance from previous month, and I have this. So I'm going to copy this down to wherever, and the next thing I do, if I've held all this fixed well, I can easily copy all this one down to any month, and I do this. Okay, fantastic. Now this is my amortization schedule. You can see that for every month I'm paying back the same amount every month. Let me take out this error sign before we do other adjustment to it. I've taken out all this error sign. Now if this facility is 12 months, all I would do is come here. Oh, it's 12 months now, so I just come here. I got to change this one to 12 months, and you see that it's ending in 12 months. If it's 10 months, I change it to 10 months, and it's ending in 10 months. But let's look at beyond the facility end date. You are seeing these numbers, hash n, um, and stuff like that. It doesn't make my work look very neat as an analyst. Some persons will feel it doesn't really matter, but I think it does. So what we are going to do is we are going to take out those ones so that anywhere the facility ends, every other thing should be blank. So what I'm going to do is, let's first change this to 18 months, which is the actual data form. And I'm going to come here. I'm saying that if this formula translates into an error, I look this something like an error, it should just put a space there. So I'm coming here to say if error, if that formula translates into an error, the whole of this is asking me value if error. If it is error, what should it put there? And I'm just saying put a space there. Okay, so if I copy here, you will notice that beyond that is just going to put that, so there is no error. So I come here and I do the same thing by saying if this formula translates into an error, just put a space there. Value if error, I'm just putting a space there. So I copy this one down, and you see that everything is gone. So I can come here, do the same thing here, that if this, if that one translates into an error, value if error, I take this and I close that and I copy here. Did that work? Why is it showing me that? Let me see. If error, let me copy that one down. It should remove that. Okay, fine, that's remove that error. And I do the same thing here again by saying if this translates into an error, let the whole of this one just give me a space. Is that correct? Okay, let me copy this one down to the end there. Great. So you see, this is a neater work. So I have my job now done. I can take out all those error message there by coming here. I click on this and I say ignore error. So this is how my work should be. You can see this is very neat. Now if I change this to 10 months, for example, you see that it ends in 10 months. There are no longer those error messages there. So I put this back to 18 months and let us do our arithmetic check. Now remember, we did mention that payment towards the principal must be the exact amount borrowed, which means I'm going to come here and add the whole of this one up there to see whether I'll have 100 million. So this is 100 million. This is also correct. Now, under this approach, the last amount brought down, which is this, must be the same amount with the last balance that was here, which is this one, which is also very correct. Now, this is how you can check whether your arithmetic accuracy is okay. Of course, the last interest will be the smallest interest. If you do a mean check on this, you're going to get 124524. If I do a mean check equal to mean, of course, we know we return the smallest value throughout this, so you get the same value. So this is how you can actually see whether your arithmetic is fine for a simple loan schedule. Thank you very much for listening. In other videos, we're going to see much more of what Excel can do. Bye-bye.